we're going to get into dietary advice because there's a lot of poor dietary advice for do's and don'ts. And I see in a lot of thyroid blogs, people saying, oh, people are very deficient in iodine. So eat a ton of kelp, a ton of iodine rich containing foods. And my thing is that the answer on that would be, based on what we just said, would be hell no. That doesn't mean you can't eat kelp and you can't eat seafood, right? It's just telling you not to eat a suit diet they're advocating for you to take high amounts of kelp, high amount of like seafood that contains iodine, for example. That's what I'm saying is it's not to overdo that exclusively thinking I'm going to help my thyroid. If you did that, you're actually doing the opposite and you're revving and increasing the autoimmune attack against your thyroid. But that doesn't mean you can't eat those foods. Does that make sense? Kathy, what are your thoughts around that?
Yeah. And I mean, this just goes back to, hey, whatever advice you hear on the internet, it might not be for you. So there's good advice and there's bad advice. And anytime somebody's telling you to eat a crap ton of one thing, take it with a grain of salt.
We actually get plenty of iodine from table salt. At home, I use sea salt. I don't use iodized salt at home. Why do I need to take additional iodine? There's already plenty of it in food that you eat outside or that's commercially prepared or whatever. So at home, I really only cook with sea salt. So one huge dietary advice that I can give you is I love to use sea salt. I'm a foodie as well. So I'm going to tell you guys there's a brand of sea salt I love for culinary purposes, and it's Malden's and it's flake, which is kind of cool. I take a couple flakes between my hand and I crumble it on my food. It not only gives the salt without iodine, but there's texture to it. And you can get even smoked salt flavor and do that. So I love Malden salt and it's sea salt, and it's on my table just from a nutritional and foodie advice standpoint.
I just wrote it down. I hope everybody out there it did as well, because we're getting a lot of questions about what kind of salt. So
Sea
thanks
salt.
for that specific information.
Yeah.
Talking about the diet, I'm sure that there's other do this, not that information.
We already mentioned that I'm not saying no to salt. I say yes to salt, but I recommend sea salt that does not contain iodine. What's a do? What's a big do when it comes to diet?
Well, I would like to ask a question of the chat. Has anyone ever heard of goitrogenic foods? Goitrogenic foods that will grow a goiter. Goitrogenic foods. That was all the rage back, I don't know, 15, 18 years ago when I first started out was, oh, don't eat the goitrogenic foods. And it used to drive me nuts because goitrogenic foods, quote unquote, are all the brassicas. So your broccoli, your cauliflower, your kale, your cabbage, all of these amazing nutrient-dense foods that have all kinds of phytonutrients and really good things for liver detoxification and hormone balancing. And we're telling people with thyroid issues to avoid them, right? And it used to drive me nuts. I'm like, this doesn't make sense to me. And so it was something very common that I heard a lot was to avoid these foods.
Do you want to hear the story that came from?
Yeah. I don't
This
think
is
I know this.
not so funny story. And I'm going to out my peoples. One of the main fodder for that story was actually a case study that was reported. And it was a Chinese woman who juiced 2 pounds of bok choy every single day for over 6 months, and apparently developed a goiter. So people thought, oh my gosh, all cruciferous vegetables are bad. You can't have it at all whatsoever. And now they're goitrogenic. But I don't even know if this woman had Hashimoto's, had Graves, what else is going on with that situation, and how much iodine this person was having. But it's really like one major case study that was reported that drove everybody towards this: avoid goitrogenic vegetables. But the thing is, what is it, Kathy? Goitrogenic vegetables. Goitrogenic. You guys
It's a hard word.
Okay, goitrogenic vegetables. The interesting thing is the list of them is exactly the same list of what we say is cruciferous vegetables. Why am I saying hell yes to eating more and more cruciferous vegetables? Does anyone know why that's a hell yes or a heck yes? Hi, I'm Maggie Yu, MD, and I'm a functional and holistic medicine physician and the creator of the Transform and Transform Protocol. If you're interested in learning what are the root causes of all chronic disease, go ahead and click the link in the description where I have a Power Pack 30-minute training that goes over what are the 5 pillars of transform. Go ahead, click the link, and I'll see you in that training.
Well, I think there's a whole lot of benefits to eating cruciferous vegetables. Kathy mentioned a number of them. I mean, in addition to being helpful in so many, I mean, just from a plant nutrient point of view, fiber, I mean, all of the dietary aspects. But certainly, as Kathy mentioned, there's also compounds in there that really help to balance hormones and slow down things like estrogen dominance. I mean, dinylomethane and No3-carbinols and all these pieces. But specifically with the brassica, the cruciferous vegetables, I really like that it's really full of a wonderful chemical called sulforaphane. I can't say it really easily.
That comes fast.
But no, it's amazing, and sulforaphane is another one of those compounds that's getting a lot of press in the medical literature right now, that basically it's like it helps everything. I mean, it helps hormones, it helps brain health, it helps detoxification, it helps preventing cancer.
Anti-aging, anti-cancer, hormone balancing, liver healing, you name it, fatty liver reducing. I mean, you name it.
What I find frustrating is we have this one anecdotal study of 2 pounds of bok choy a day, and all of a sudden we're telling people not to eat these foods that probably are like you said, anti-aging, but longevity promoting, right? These are foods that literally help every organ system in the body, and we're like, but don't eat those. Listen to your doctor. Don't eat those. I mean, I feel like they're saying don't eat healthy food. Instead eat some ketchup and Skittles and you'll be fine. But avoid the broccoli. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Don't
Absolutely.
get my conspiracy hat going, Dr. J. We're touching the borderline there.
This is a quiz for everybody. I'm saying hell yes to cruciferous vegetables. What do you think is the best way to cook or not cook them to maximize all the medical benefits? What do you guys think? Is it to eat it raw? Is it to roast them? Is it to steam them? Is it to cook them well done? Like, what do you guys think? Right? Is it to blend them in a smoothie? What do you guys think?
I think either put them in the microwave or boil the crap out of them.
I thought you were being serious. And I was like, wait a minute.
Oh, you thought I was serious? Oh, yeah. No.
No, I was like,
do I need to put my sarcasm hat on now?
Kathy just did that. That was AKA Canadian humor. Okay, so all of you guys that said steamed is correct. And if you're going to steam them, don't overcook them. What all the studies, all the literature say that when you actually steam your vegetables, cruciferous vegetables, and not cook them to death, by the way, just steam them so they're just barely cooked and retain a good crunch and snap to it. That's what activates a lot of these compounds, just so you guys know. So steaming. Yeah. And I love Kelly's in here, and Kelly's saying, well, what do you put on them? Oh my gosh, Kelly, right? Not only can you put sea salt on it, like I just mentioned, but she loves to bake with EVOO, extra virgin olive oil. So much health benefits, just so you guys know.
Good.
Yeah. So you can top them with something amazing like extra virgin olive oil, which I love. And extra virgin olive oil, are you supposed to cook with it? What's the best way to consume it to get the most maximal nutritional benefit?
The best way to consume
extra virgin olive oil is
raw, drizzled
straight
on
up.
everything.
Don't cook it. Don't cook it. Don't cook with extra virgin olive oil. Okay. Use it as a topper along with that luscious sea salt.
I had a friend of mine, a practitioner, that said food is just a conduit to get more olive oil into your body. And I really appreciate his perspective on that.
He's probably 96 and living really well.
Yeah, he is. He's older, and yeah, I agree, he is.
Perfect. Hey, if you really enjoyed what you're watching and you want to learn more about this topic, make sure you check out, if you're on YouTube, some of the suggestions for what to watch next right here. And if you're watching on any other format, feel free to comment in the comment section. Our team and I will get those resources to you. And if you haven't clicked subscribe yet on YouTube, make sure to click subscribe and ring the bell so you get notified every time we are live. Thanks, everyone.